Thank you very much, gentlemen, ma'am. Thank you for being here. Let me talk briefly initially about cybersecurity. Both General Clark and General Grass and I have had conversations about this and the role that the Air National Guard, Kansas National Guard plays in our state and in our country in cybersecurity. We've had concern that I've expressed to both of you about reorganization, downsizing, the role of the Guard in cybersecurity. But my understanding, Generals, is that there has been an agreement reached between the Kansas National Guard and the Air National Guard regarding how to maintain and perhaps even expand the talent pool in Kansas in regard to cybersecurity. This seems to me obviously to be a front and center issue, and the Department of Defense from Secretary Ash Carter just recently in his comments about the need to grow cybersecurity. I think we have a great interest in trying to accomplish that. And my question to either General Clark or General Grass is, I'd like to know when this understanding, what's the timing for getting it into a more formal circumstance on a piece of paper, a memorandum of agreement between the Air National Guard and the Kansas National Guard?
Senator, we're prepared to do this in fiscal year 16, and we're in agreement with the Adjutant General of Kansas on the formal construct of 2 squadrons, one essentially that's a blue squadron, one that's a red squadron, and a group headquarters on top of the 2 squadrons in Kansas. And we're looking forward to the opportunity to play the blue squadron into the cyber mission forces that we'll be providing for U.S. Cyber Command on a normal rotational basis. And we're looking forward to leveraging the red team to do the efforts they've been doing in the past to kind of make us flex our bicep in security and cyber for the overall, for the nation. And so the answer to your question is in 16.
General, when you say in 16, that's when the consequences of this agreement will occur, but the agreement in writing should occur sooner than that, could occur now, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, when this NDA is signed, that's when I consider it in writing that we can move forward.
And when do you expect that signature or those signatures to take place?
Whenever I would say you're marking all the way up into May, sometime in May, late May.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, General. General Grass, you have visited the Fusion Center in Kansas. I have recently been back to the Fusion Center. I wanted to hear from you your perspective on what's taking place there and the unique opportunities that the Guard has to play in cybersecurity and the facility that the Fusion Center can participate in.
Yeah, Senator, during my visit about a year ago, I actually sit in on an update that was going on between law enforcement, both state, federal, as well as National Guard sitting in on the meeting, as well as private and public entities that were in that session. And the real value of your Fusion Center, you bring all sectors together in one place to look at security issues, and then they can go off in their compartmented areas and communicate on their own secure systems. And it's been really a model. We've actually sent some representatives from the Department of Defense out to take a look at it. We're really interested in working closely with DHS to say that this may be a model of something that DHS may want to look at for the future across the nation, and have advised other adjutants general to take a look.
I appreciate that, General. We'll have Secretary Jay Johnson at the Fusion Center in May, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, so your efforts are certainly reached the attention of the Secretary. Let me pass my final question to General Jackson. I wrote the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General Welch, in August of 2013 regarding the potential for the 931st Air Refueling Group at McConnell Air Force Base to be designated as a wing. My question, General, is the transition of the and this is based upon the arrival of the K-46A tankers, which would increase about 420 in personnel. My question to you, General, is transition from a group to a wing still a priority for the Air Force, and what timing could you suggest in which this may occur?
Senator, thank you very much for the question. We're very proud to be a partner with Air Mobility Command to stand up the first Mobilization 1 site for the KC-46A at McConnell Air Force Base. The 931st has a long history of excellence at that location, And as you mentioned, as part of the strategic basing process that the Secretary ran for that first decision for Mobilization 1, it was to go ahead and grow that organization to a wing structure so that we can do two things. The first thing is to make sure that we can go ahead and retain the experience on the Air Force Reserve side to help train all the active duty maintainers and folks that are going to be coming into McConnell as we grow both those organizations at that location. The other part is that we'll be able to sustain that excellence in training and also be able to deploy on the very front end with the KC-46. So our increased manpower that we're putting in place in 17, I believe is the number, but I'll go ahead and get that back to you. On the growth, we've got a glide slope to get up to a wing structure by 17 and 18.
Thank you, sir. General Grass, I wanted to follow up with my conversation with General Clark. You were kind enough, we shook hands this morning, and you congratulated us on the success of reaching agreement between the Kansas National Guard and the Air National Guard, I'm sorry, the Kansas National Guard and the Air Guard. What concerns me about what I heard this morning is that there's something necessary to happen with NDAA or the appropriations process. My question is there anything that now prevents the Guard from entering into some formalized agreement between the National Guard and the Kansas Guard related to cyber? What you were congratulating me about and indicating the success that has taken place, why can't that be put in writing? And to my knowledge, there's nothing in NDAA that's necessary for us to formalize, for you to formalize that agreement. Is there anything preventing you from signing an agreement now?
Senator, one of the things we looked at in cyber a year ago, and all the governors have been very outspoken about this, that we expand cyber capability across the Guard, and my concern was that we needed a strategy to do that. And I think General Clark laid out that strategy of how we would look at the capabilities from civilian skills as well as the upward mobility of folks that grow in those units. But my bigger concern was that strategy of where we put those units. So General Clark and General Cademy meet periodically. This summer we're going to announce the stationing to the Adjutant General of another 11 units, 4 Air and 7 more Army. We just announced in February 3 more Army. But the intent is to work it together, because whether it's an Air Guard or Army Guard unit, I told them I didn't want to wake up one day and see them all piled in one region of the country. And our goal was first to have a cyber capability in the Guard in every FEMA region, and we're on a path to hit that. And then the next step is every state that could support it would have a cyber capability, and that's my commitment to the governors. The bigger issue, though, Senator, and I think definitely Secretary Work's working this right now at the Pentagon. He's established a working group. It's the authorities that we've got to get after. We can build the forces, and we're going to do this, and Secretary Carter has made this a priority. I see more for all the reserve components for the future of growing capability. But it's the authority of what we can do in state active duty versus a federal authority, and where are the boundaries. So those authorities will actually probably come to the Congress at some point to work through. So we're really taking that on now to identify what we need to be able to function from the governor's call as well as the president's call. But I think you'll see these, and General Clark can talk specifically about the red team and that you have and the blue team and the group, how soon we can get those. But
you're suggesting, General Grass, that something is required from NDAA or from Congress before you can formalize the agreement?
No, yeah, go ahead.
Senator, when I say that, I don't even promise people capabilities for existing things we have until an NDAA is signed, because we have to have the authority to execute mission based on what the Congress authorizes money for. So the plan, including the things at cyber for Kansas, is based on the authorities given to us, written into the NDAA, that says this is what the Congress is willing to stand up for and pay for. And it might be Apache helicopters, A-10s, whatever it is out there, including cyber capabilities. If you're looking for a written instrument that indicates what the plan is, I can certainly do that with the TAG of Kansas. So far, it's been verbal and email exchange with the TAG of Kansas, say he agrees with it. And I have those emails if you'd like those for record, but he agrees with what we're planning to do there. But it's when the NDAA is signed and it's official record and law, we can move forward on anything that comes to the Department of Defense, including cyber.
I have other questions or concerns about this, but let's have this conversation outside.
Yes,
I appreciate the chance to have this conversation with you, General Clark, and you, General Grass. Thank you.